We're live. Hello. Hello. I need to turn my monitor so I can actually see what that people are talking to me. I'm Amanda Call, and I'm going to be working on my comic page. This is my webcomic, Age of Night. We're working on chapter 26, page 9. We've worked on this for 2 streams already, so I've gotten the whole thing drawn on stream and hand lettered, and we started doing some of the inking. So now we're going to continue doing some of the inking, see how far we get this evening on the stream. So I'm going to get out my Royal Talons India ink. And my pen nib. Hey, Hungry, thanks for joining me. This is the Hunt 107 pen nib in my fancy wooden Tachikawa holder. And let's see, I think I did all those. Yeah, that one's done. So we're going to move over here to this panel. Hey, Ilya, thank you for joining me. So we're going to start with some of the stippling. We've got a lot of texture to build up on some of these panels, some of these backgrounds. Hope everyone is doing well and settling back into the post-holiday break routine. I know not everybody gets a break over the holidays, but our entire life revolves around the school calendar, so we had a nice little break. But now everybody went back to school and work. Everything's back to normal. All right, I want, what? Curses. That right there, I'm just going to make a little X because this window is going to be filled with black. Hopefully that little line gets lost in the other texture I'm going to be building up here. If it doesn't, we can fix it with whiteout. Hate it when I do stuff like that. It's so frustrating. Put these little dots. Lots and lots of little dots. All right, well, now that I've done all those little dots, I'm actually going to jump down to this next panel because there's a couple of spots where for this big pattern laid into the big Kiara symbol laid into the floor here, I'm going to want to use a straight edge to get those lines nice and neat. On a lot of the images, previous panels where it was smaller, I just freehanded it, but that one's pretty big. I don't want to end up with like super wobbly lines. So I'm going to use a straight edge. I need to fetch. Okay. So I'm going to use my triangle. But I can't do them all in one pass because it's got to like rock back and forth, and that would be a lot of like overlap, and I don't want to drag my triangle through wet ink. So I'm going to do it in a couple of passes. And this is not going to be like a real... Why are you not cooperating? There we go. Not going to be like a real solid, bold line. It's going to be kind of a broken line because I don't want it to like... It's just an inlay in the floor. I don't want it to look like it's a totally separate object. It's just like a different area of different colored stone. But I do want the lines to be somewhat straight and not all wibbly wobbly. So I'm using the straight edge. Elliot, Ilya says they wrote a story. That's cool. What did you write? If you want to share. You don't have to, but if you would like to. All right, clean off the side of my straight edge. Come back up here and keep working on the texture in this background. Want to turn it into a mini comic, and it's about a time machine. Oh, that sounds fun. You can do a lot of really fun things with time travel. All right, there's one entire column, and I'm going to do a series of like parallel lines here in the background to kind of guide, so that when I'm filling all of this space in with my hatching lines, it doesn't end up all like rocking back and forth and getting out of alignment, starting to lean in one direction or the other. Start building this up. It's going to be pretty dark around the bottom and the edges there. Build all that up slowly. This background texture stuff can take a little while. But you also don't want to like rush it and go too heavy, because then it's ink. You can't pick it back up. You can white out over it, but that's not really something you want to have to do for a large area. So that just a little bit darker down here. Just a little. Whew. And the other thing is, when you're doing like a lot of heavy texturing like this, is that you start to tear up the paper a little bit, and then you get little fibers in your pen. You can probably see the tip of my pen there doesn't look quite straight. It's got a little nub on it. That's a little bit of paper fiber I got to clean off. Dipped it in some water, just kind of giving it a quick quick clean there. All right, and also while we're taking a little break from that, we'll come back over here and do another pass on these straight lines. Some of the ones we didn't get last time, because now the ones that we did the first time are dry, so I don't have to worry about messing them up with my triangle. Oop, cat hair. There we go. All right, so now I've got that inlay all nice and outlined, so that's good. So now we should be done with the triangle at this point. I'm gonna clean it off real quick, make sure I'm not putting it away all sticky. All right, back over here. Cat, yep. This is a very cat-intensive page. All right, we've got to get this kind of differentiate that this is a different plane, so the lines are going in a different direction. Helps to set it apart from the rest of the wall. There we go. Oop. Try to stay in frame for you guys. I have my monitor right here so I can look up and make sure that I'm actually like working in frame of the camera. I don't always remember. I've only been doing these art streams for like, I don't know, like 4 years or something, and I still mess that up on occasion. All right, down here it's all going to be pretty dark. We got to build it up pretty well. Look at that. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Just a little bit more over here. Hey, Spud, thanks for joining me. Hope you're doing well. Just filling in some backgrounds right now. Building up a bunch of these ink textures. Takes a little while. Very chill, meditative work. The scratchy sound, yeah. The wooden handle on my nib actually really transmits a lot of that sound. It's like way louder than if you use the little plastic handle, which is kind of fun. All right, same thing we're gonna do with those little guidelines here in the background. Slowly build that toward the darker end. That's looking pretty good. Oh, no. Here come the bots. Here come the bots. Goodbye. Goodbye, bots. They've been just terrible lately. Had several last week. We had several last night during the Chaotic Goodcast. It's very annoying. Here we go. Ah! Oh, I crinkled the corner. Goodness. Too rough. Wasn't paying any attention. I was leaning on it. All right. So I gotta pick out a couple more details on Drake here. We've got to pick out his little chest fluff so that when I fill the rest of him in with black, all of these details are not lost. All right, good. So now it's top tier. I've done all of the nib inking. We're going to continue on. Later, I will come back in with a brush and do the rest of the inking up here in brush. That'll probably be next week's stream because we're not going to get that far tonight. I can pretty much tell you that right now. But more dots. Just moving the paper around to make sure that stuff is still like at an angle that's comfortable to my hand, because especially if you're doing like a whole bunch of inking like this, like so many individual strokes to get all of this background texture, make sure you're doing that in a way that's as comfortable as possible for your hand so you're not hurting yourself. There's no reason to be straining or working at an angle that's going to damage your wrist. It's no good. And completely unnecessary. Just turn the paper. Dots. All the dots. Clean my pen nib off again. What's the plan on the second panel? Oh, so that one's just going to be black. So this is one of the sequences where Drake is entering his like kind of spiritual like dream type space. And so that's usually represented with him just kind of floating in a black void. So this is like he's entering it here, but then when he opens his eyes, he's still like in the same physical space that he was before, not like in the void. So he's kind of confused. So that's what's going on in these couple of panels here. And that's also why this one has no background, because then it's going to be the void again. So that's what's going on with that. All right, so now on this big floor texture, a big part of why I even have this perspective grid on this very simple panel is to make sure that I keep my floor texture in perspective so that it will actually look like a floor in perspective. If you do a texture at the wrong angle, you'll ruin your perspective and things won't look as right. So that's what we have going on here. Yeah, it will make a lot more sense once the whole page is done. It doesn't make a lot of sense to just describe when the page is half inked. So we're going to do our little guidelines following the perspective grid to make sure that we keep our texture in perspective. It's very easy to accidentally teeter out of that. Start with just a tiny little shadow, something like small and easy to achieve. And we'll start filling in this massive space. I think I need to clean my pen nib. Not much is coming out. Let's give that a quick rinse. Make sure there's no dried ink gunking up my channel here. Much better. Oh, this is a lot of space to fill in. I have a great idea. We'll showcase that Drake is all alone in a big empty space that I will have to fill with an ink texture. Great plan. Fill in this little gap over here. There we go. Ooh, I feel like I'm going to spend half the stream just trying to fill in this one panel. Goodness. Goodness. It's what, 8:30 now? We're already halfway through, although I did spend a lot of that on the third panel, rather. First panel I worked on tonight. These textured backgrounds take a while. Is lettering hard? It's a little bit tricky. It takes practice, definitely, to make your letters nice and uniform. I have plenty of techniques though and tools that help to make it a lot easier. So I use like my Ames lettering guide to make sure that everything is evenly spaced, and it takes a certain amount of practice to just make your like the actual shapes of your letters really consistent. But if you go slowly, it's really not that bad. I also always letter everything in pencil first so that I can make sure I have the spacing right, and then I go back over it. Yeah, and it's certainly not like my regular handwriting. Like if I'm just writing myself a grocery list or writing somebody a note, it does not look like that. that is very deliberate hand lettering, handwriting, not like what I normally just write in when I'm just writing to myself. And you can see like the chapter and page up here are definitely a lot more loose and sloppy. That's a lot closer to what I actually write like when I'm just writing for myself, not hand lettering. That's a very deliberate type of writing. Where you're striving for everything being pretty uniform and clear. Okay, got a nice little gradient going on there. That's working pretty well. I'm still irritated I crunched this corner. No, I'm not making comics. My handwriting is not very good. It certainly is not. All right, so the rest of the floor to be lighter comparatively next to this symbol. So we've got leaving bigger spaces between these lines to get that to stand out. Yeah, I've done hand lettering on the stream a few times, and I have a whole video about hand lettering in my like pre-recorded and edited videos. It's like my oldest video at this point, so it's not as polished as some of my later ones. But it's fine. It still has plenty of good information. So just doesn't have the same like level of polish as some of my more recent edited videos because I had no idea what I was doing. So which is, it's arguable that I have any idea what I'm doing now, but I have more practice at least. Trying not to lose the perspective on the edge there. It can be very tricky. Very easy to let it accidentally wander out of perspective. Darken up that shadow around him just a wee bit. Just a little. What is this random hair? Get out of here. I do letter on the computer for some projects. I don't for this project because I like the pages to be like a complete artifact in their own right. It's just kind of like the whole like MO for this entire project for Age of Night is just doing stuff as traditionally as I can for the most part, with very few exceptions. And I enjoy it. I find it very satisfying to do hand lettering. I do digital lettering, like for I Am the First, I'm doing digital lettering. And so, like, those pages, there's no lettering on the boards. I do it all on the computer after I'm done coloring. So, it's the whole theme. It's the whole, like, ethos behind, that's the word I was looking for. It's the whole ethos behind this project is, like, it's basically, it's just, like, all about doing stuff as traditionally as possible. So. Oop, there's some gunk. Pen nib. Because, yes, lettering on the computer is much faster and easier. It absolutely is. Yeah, it does. Although you can also make your own hand lettered fonts, which it's still going to look like a font because it's going to be too consistent. But you can, like, hand write your own fonts and then import them and use them in different programs. Because, like, for I Am the First, I made my own font that looks like my handwriting, because then it looks like my hand lettering handwriting. Because I feel like it just looks a lot more unified and that it's all done by my hand than having some completely different, like, font that doesn't look anything like the way I draw, which I don't know. I don't know if that actually makes sense, but I feel like it looks like it fits better than just picking a font out of what's available. I got that made on a website called Calligrapher with no E before the R. And you have to, like, pay, it was a really nominal fee. It was something like $14, I think, for a month. And you can get, like, up to, what was it, like 6 fonts or something made for that. That was pretty reasonable, honestly. And you can go in and, like, it gives you, like, a whole bunch of characters, and you can go in and, like, tweak them all personally. Oh my word, get out of here, bots. Good grief. Getting there. Getting there. This panel didn't take me as long as I thought it was going to. Felt like it was going to take much longer. It wasn't too bad. One step at a time. That's right. One. No! Bots! Another one? Really? Go away. Dang. So annoying. All right, there we go. Oh, there's bots keep showing up in the chat. I'm deleting them about as fast as they show up, but they'll just like all of the ones so far this evening have had like random Cyrillic names, but then it's followed by a link to something probably malicious, and yeah, it's just like one of those truncated links where it's just like a series of like 6 letters with a dot in the middle of it. So they're bots that are spamming the comments, and then I delete the comments about as fast as they show up because we don't need that. And there's been like a lot of them on YouTube lately. Because I've had this happen a lot the last couple of weeks, and we've had the same issue over on the Victory Condition Gaming channel. It's very annoying. It's like, get out of here. It's like, I don't, does this work? Does this get you somewhere ever? Get all those little detail outlines on Drake here. There we go. Oh my god, another one. Von vor.ong. Why? Get out of here. Remove. If you got nothing good or reasonable to say, get out of here. Exactly, Ilya. I mean, even like some of my friends show up and they just want to troll me. That's fine. Troll me, but don't just leave like malicious spam links. Contribute something. All right. More dots. We did actually get that one done. How about that? And we've got 15 minutes left in the stream. These streams last for an hour because after an hour, we should all get up and go stretch and have something to drink. Get some water. All the little dots. For that TikTok, I totally have. Except I still don't, because Barney keeps saying that he's going to get a TikTok. I told him I'll get one when he does, but he hasn't done it yet. Cats scratching noises. Yep. Tap, 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 tap. If the TikTok ever happens, then by all means, go and troll me there. I'm quite used to being trolled. It's like the number one way that most of my friends show affection is trolling. And bots, yeah. See how far we can get before we reach the end of the hour. I can probably finish this panel, maybe? I'm not confident on that. Maybe I can't. We'll see. Either way, it's going to be, I'm thinking, one more stream after this. And then this page will be as done as it's going to be for stream time. So next week, we'll be finishing it up. This week, we're going to get as far as we can before time is up. Okay, all the little dots. Just going to stay right here, riveted to the dots. I have your rapt attention. Get these columns done first. Is there any real good reason to? No, not really. That's just what I feel like doing. Sometimes the things I do have like good technique reasons, and sometimes it's just because that's what I feel like doing. There we go. Columns. We've got columns. I'm gonna work on this background wall bit. Work on this wall while in the last 10 minutes I talk about the YouTube things. I'll remind whoever's watching, I'm Amanda Call. This is my channel. This is my comic, Age of Night. You can read Age of Night at ageofnight.com. That's AGEOFNIGHT.com. I update every Wednesday with a new comic page. You can read the whole thing for free online. Has quite a deep backlog. So if you want to read a whole bunch of comic, I got you covered. You can read the whole thing for free, but if you want to help support me, you can support me on Patreon, which is patreon.com/ageofnight, spelled the same way as the comic. Patrons get all of their comics a week early, even at just like $1 a month. You always get the comics early. You get to see behind the scenes of me working on this and other projects. You get free comics for signing up, all sorts of cool stuff. You can also buy copies of Age of Night. You can buy PDF copies from the One Bookshelf sites. So that's Drive-Thru RPG, Drive-Thru Comics, and Drive-Thru Fiction through my publishing partner, Skirmisher Publishing. And the PDFs are the same as also the book. So you can also buy it in paperback from, the website where you can buy literally everything. You can buy like an ebook version there too if you would like. And those books I have the first 3 volumes available. So that's like volume 1 is the prologue through chapter 7, and then it's chapter 8 through 14 in volume 2, and chapter 15 through 21 in volume 3. And the actual like collected books, like you can read all of the story online without paying anything, but there is bonus material in the books that isn't available anywhere else as like a thank you for supporting me by buying them. So you do get a little extra bonus for that. It's also just a nice way to get through most of the backlog if you prefer to read physical media versus having to wait for 600 web pages to load. Just, there's that. That's a thing for you. Oh, this stuff takes forever to build up. What else? So yeah, this is my YouTube channel. I do these art streams every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Unless something happens like my internet goes out or whatever, but most of the time, Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, I do these live streams for about an hour. So if you like this, you should like the video and subscribe to the channel so that you can catch whenever I go live. I do also do like pre-recorded and edited videos. I haven't done one of those in a little while. I'm taking a little bit of a break from that because I've got a lot of other stuff on my plate at the moment, but I'll get back to doing those eventually. And I have a bunch already, so if you haven't already watched them, you can go through and watch my backlog of those, where I talk about making art and stuff around like art creation that's maybe like less technical, but still about art in general. Okay, that's looking more like it. Where else can you find me on the internet? You can find me on Twitter at Age of Night, spelled the same way as the comic. You can find me on Instagram at Amanda Call Art. Age of Night also has a Facebook page if you do Facebook. I think that's all the things. I think that's all the things. Got just a couple minutes left in this video. No events or anything coming up, which is what I also talk about. I am staying inside and getting as much art done as possible over the next couple of months because I have so much to do. I think I found your channel because you did an instruction video for the Ames lettering guide. Yep, I sure did. That is far and away my most popular video. Gets the most views, which I'm really glad that people are finding that video and finding it useful. I still get comments on it all the time of people being like, oh my gosh, this was so helpful, which good. That's awesome. I'm so happy that that's helpful for people. That's why I did it, because it's one of those things. If you just look at an Ames lettering guide, it makes no sense how to use. You really need some instruction in order to be able to use it effectively for comic lettering. So. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. See, and this is just the thing is that, like, anytime I go to do something, I watch multiple YouTube videos, and even if some of them are, like, more polished or whatever, it's a matter of, like, who presents the information in the way that makes the most sense to you. So there's always value in there being multiple people presenting even the exact same information as long as they're doing it their own way, because everybody's going to present things a little bit differently, and those different ways are going to make sense to different people and benefit different people. You have a joke? Okay, quickly, because we're about to end, Ilya. What is your joke? Because I'm cleaning up. We have a joke. I'm waiting in anticipation. But we started this evening with just the first panel, 2 panels inked in the background, and we've got almost 3 more. We're most of the way through that background inking. That stuff. What is slimy, chunky, and smells like a fish? I don't know. What is slimy and chunky and smells like? Oh no. Oh, cat vomit. Oh, it's true. It's so true. The life of cat parents. Oh, right. Well, we are done for this evening. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming and hanging out with me. Next week, we'll be back at the same time, and we will get as close to finished on this page as we can. So thanks, everybody. I will see you next time. Bye.